Cubing hardware these days is so good. Here's some examples of my mains. Here's the Expand Design Volt V2, magnetized for the slice and the layers, so every turn clicks into place. This thing is set up extremely well, so it's extremely fast, smooth, and stable. The same goes with these other cubes. Here's the WRM, also a very good cube, which turns extremely smoothly. And here's the X-Men Bell Pyraminx, also very fast and stable, and also has great corner cutting. But cubing hardware was not always like this. In the past, we had cubes like these. Cubes that were not fast at all, very slow. These cubes have no magnets to keep the layers in place, allowing for a lot of lockups and instability and a lot of pops. So that just got me wondering, what happens if I switch from all my mains to bad cubing hardware? So how important really is hardware to cubing? And is it really true that it's the cuber, not the cube? So I'm going to try to put that to the test. For 24 hours, I will only be allowed to use bad hardware. So the rules of this challenge is pretty simple. First off, I can only use this bad cubing hardware. I cannot be using or turning any other cubes. Second off, I'm not going to be able to loop or tension these cubes. That just makes the challenge a bit harder to force me to use bad hardware and deal with it. So before we start, I think it's a good idea to go over my mains and goes for all these puzzles. For 2x2, I'll be using this YJ 2x2. This cube, as you can hear, is not the most pleasant. Corner cutting is pretty much non-existent. My goal is to get some sub 3 averages. I'm not really sure how doable that is with a cube like this, but I can average maybe sub 2 on 2x2 on a good day, so maybe sub 3 average and this will be pretty nice. 4x4, I'm using an unmodded Shengxiao 4x4. I think it's a V4. This thing is really bad. I remember from the old days, this used to pop a ton. So right now in 4x4, I average around 35 to 40 seconds. So with this, I'll be lucky enough to get sub 50 or sub 45 solves. For 5x5, my worst one is actually Yushin, which isn't actually the worst, but still this thing pops a little bit and also isn't the most stable puzzle. I usually average sub 120 maybe on a good day for 5x5, but on this cube, actually maybe sub 130 might be a reasonable guess for what I might average. For 6x6, this is the Moyu Aoshi, and this is the first 6x6 released by Moyu, and it was quite bad. The releases I remember was not the greatest. I think a lot of people even use the Shengxiao over this. So yeah, not the greatest puzzle. I have no idea what I'll expect to get for goals for this cube. I usually average maybe sub 3, but with this, I'll be lucky enough to sub 4. I really don't know if I'll get even decent times of this puzzle. For 7x7, we actually have this Moyu Aofu, which is pillowed. I'm not sure how that will affect me because I never really played around with too much pillowed cubes. Normally in 7x7, I'm really bad. I already average maybe around 5 minutes, but with this cube, I'm saying sub 7 I'll be happy with, to be honest, because this thing turns really badly. For Megaminx, I'll be using the YJ Yuhu. This is the original Yuhu, and the grip is really bad, the turning is bad, just everything about this puzzle wasn't the greatest. So usually with Megaminx I can average maybe sub 120, but with this Megaminx I think that's going to be quite difficult. I think maybe even sub 150 or sub 2 would be good for me. Next, for Cube, this is actually not an X-Men, this is just the logo I put here for no reason again, but this is a Lan Cube from way back in the day. This thing turns pretty weirdly and you got the ball bearings going, not magnets, so that's also quite interesting. This thing also pops a lot, which is going to be a concern, but yeah, this puzzle is not really the greatest. I'm not sure how to deal with it. I usually can average maybe sub 6, sub 5, but with this puzzle, I'm going for sub 8 or sub 9. Pyraminx, we got the Chi Pyraminx. This is the original Pyraminx with ball bearings. This puzzle is pretty atrocious. The ball bearings are so strong here in the layers that it's so hard to turn. And just in general, this puzzle is not really enjoyable to turn. You can even hear it. It's not really the best puzzle. For Pyraminx, I can average around sub 4, but with this puzzle, I think sub 6 or sub 7 might be a reasonable goal. So next we have Square One. This is the puzzle I specialize in, and hardware has jumped a lot for Square One, and that's one of the reasons I got pretty good at it, but this one is just quite horrible. This is a YJ Square One, I believe. So like old Square One, it has pretty much zero corner cutting, and it pops a lot, which is really not that enjoyable. So usually in Square One I can average sub 8 maybe, but for this puzzle, I'm gonna be happy with honestly like sub 15, and that's pretty much double the time, but like Square One is so dependent on hardware, I feel like I really couldn't do much on this cube. Lastly, for the main event Duet 3, we are going to unbox it actually right now. We have the Rubik's Duet 3 right here, unopened. This is actually a prize I won at a Rubik's Cube bookstore competition. I actually got second, which is pretty cool, and I got this cube. I haven't opened it yet, but we'll see how bad this thing turns. Alright, here's the puzzle, and I can't wait to turn this thing. Okay, it's actually not too bad. I thought it would be a bit worse. But still quite loud. It's still not that great to turn, and the corner cutting I'd expect to not really be consistent either. So yeah, this is going to be the Debate 3 I'm going to be using. It's going to be quite a challenge actually, but I think I can survive. Now that I went through my mains and goals, I think it's time to jump straight into the challenge with some Debate 3 solves. So the time is officially past 12, which means the challenge has started. I actually forgot to mention my goals for Debate 3, so I average around 10 seconds usually, but for now I think I'll try to average sub 15 with this cube. So let's see if I can do it. So here's my first solve. Already scrambling it. I am not looking forward to this. Already screwed up cross. Alright, maybe sub 15 was a bit ambitious. Let's keep trying though. I'll be honest, I just done 2 solves and my hands are actually so tired right now. Alright, another sub 20 solved. I guess that's a bit of progress going on there. Turning on this thing is so frustrating. I'm not even joking, my hands are actually so tired right now. It feels like I've just done like 100 solves when I've just done 4. So first after 5 is 20.11, not quite sub 20, but I think we're almost there. So one thing I also realized from doing this after 5 is that I can't do fancy finger tricks on this cube. So I think I was trying to do an F, like this kind of F, but it would just lock up on me because the wire was like misaligned a little bit and it couldn't really do an F. Pushes are also a bit annoying, they take quite a bit of effort, so I think stuff like that is why it's tiring my hands so much. So before I go to sleep, I actually want to try to get one sub 15 solved. I think that would be a pretty good way to end the session. So let's keep trying. No, that was so close. No way. No, not again. Yes, finally there. So it was a bit lucky, but I think I figured out the strategy. So I think I kind of figured out a strategy to doing this thing. So I think the main idea is that you have to look at it quite a bit. Since this thing turns so badly, there isn't too many opportunities to save time. But since you are also turning a bit slower because of the slowness of this cube, it gives you a lot of time to look ahead, which is actually pretty nice. Also, I think it's quite important to be efficient with this cube. The turning is definitely not the greatest, so saving move count is definitely very important. So as I'm turning slower, I'm trying to look for better solutions, so not just the first pair I see, but maybe the most efficient pair I see next. And that can save quite a bit of moves, and I think that gives some better times. So actually I want to try a few more solves and see how far I can actually push this. Nice. Nice. So I did a few more solves and the sub 15 average is still eluding me. I think my best after 5 so far has been 15.28 and my best after 12 has been 16.39. So yeah, I still see a bit of progress. I think I'm getting better at this, but definitely still not perfect at it. So my hands are actually really tired right now, and I guess I'm tired as well. So I think I'm gonna go to sleep, and then after that, continue this challenge when I wake up. Alright. So I just woke up. It's about 10 o'clock right now, which means we have still 14 hours left of this challenge. So to start off the morning, I think I'll start off with some Square One. This is my main event, as most of you guys already know. And as you guys also know, Square One's also very dependent on hardware. So we'll see how this goes with this YJ Square One, with pretty much no corner carding and a lot of popping. So Hopefully not too much of that in this average, but let's see how this goes. Already I'm noticing that I really can't use any of my finger tricks. Like I have to keep on re-gripping my slice because I literally can't finger trick without that. And also a bit weird with yellow. I usually use black on my Square One. This one has yellow, so that is interesting. Alright, mess up there a little bit, still got sub 20. That's not a bad start. Oh, almost sub 15. That was a nice PBO. Nice, 14 seconds. Alright, that's first sub 15. That was pretty easy, JJ Adjaj PBO. So let's see how far we can go with this. Alright, this is so frustrating because I'm turning much slower than I usually do, like pretty much half the speed, and there's really not much I can do because if I turn any faster, it's going to lock up or it's going to pop. So like lots of respect for people like Brandon Lin back in the day using puzzles like these with pretty much no corner cutting, because this is honestly awful. No, that was almost sub 10. That was so lucky. I had an M from my bottom for PBO. Damn. But that's actually a pretty good time. So kind of like the Rubik's brand, this thing turns very slowly and lots of lockups, so this is also making my hands quite a bit tired when turning this thing. I also noticed one thing, that if you have both layers aligned like this and you try to do abs like this, like maybe like a J from here, it's so difficult because usually this is already quite difficult because both layers being misaligned makes it harder to like align everything. But now that the corner cutting sucks, it's even harder to make these really precise movements in Square One. And I think that's why, especially in Square One, hardware is so important, because like you don't have much room for error here. The edges are so small, and if you miss turn by slightly, then you'll lock up if you can't reverse corner cut, or if you don't have magnets. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a challenge, but I did get a low 10, so it's giving me hope that maybe a sub 10 single at least might be possible. No way, already sub 10? Alright, that's good. I had a nice PBO there, but dang, sub 10 already. That's nice. Alright, I'm actually surprised I didn't pop this yet, but I think I'm still turning a bit conservatively, so let's see what happens if I try to rush it up a little bit. Okay, for that time I just tried to turn a bit more fast and more aggressively. That didn't actually go too badly. I thought it would pop, but it didn't. Alright, it's actually working out pretty fine. Interesting. So that is pop number 1, I think. We'll see how many pops you get throughout this average. Alright, that's pop number 2. That's pop number 3. So here are the solves we got so far. We did 20 solves, best after 12 was around 14, and best after 5 was about 12 seconds. And we got the best single of 9.89, which is pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie, doing these solves makes my hands quite tired, so I think I'll take a quick break for now, and then after that, I'll probably do some Square One solves off camera. I'm just so tired. Alright. I think a huge reason why this solve was not really enjoyable is because of this weight. It's so heavy. I didn't have too many problems with the pillowness, but like the slowness and the weight definitely really hurt my times and my hands are actually still tied right now. But I'm glad I just got this out of the way, and I don't think I'm doing another solve on this thing ever again, really. But let's try one on this cube. Hopefully it's a bit better. So already the squareness of this puzzle is already feeling much better, and the turning also feels a bit better. Wow, that solve was actually not too bad. 3 minutes 37? That's maybe like 30 seconds away from what I average, but that's definitely not bad. So the squareness of this puzzle and that speed, I think, is a bit better than the Alpha, which allowed my time to be much better. I also enjoy 6x6 more than 7x7, so that made this solve a bit more enjoyable, which is also why I think I got a decent time. The size of this puzzle is still a bit big, and it's still a bit heavy, and this turning isn't really the greatest, but this solve still went much better than expected. Alright, now let's try 5x5. Already feeling this thing is actually really light, which is a good thing. Alright, let's see how this goes. I think I'm going to try Yao. I think Yao's going to save a few more moves compared to Redux, and saving moves is pretty important with a solve like this. No, not sub 2, it was so close. Okay, I think sub 2 is actually doable with this cube, but damn, the turning is just really bad because of its tightness, but let's try one more solve on this. I want to get sub 2. This time I'll try Redux, maybe that'll be a bit better. I guess we'll see. Nice, sub 2. Okay, that solve went decently well. I think I looked ahead quite a bit because of my slower turning, so that was nice, but yeah, that solve was not the best. But yeah, these big cube solves are making my hands quite tired, but I have one more to go, and that is 4x4. Recently, I've been enjoying this event quite a bit though, because I've been using Olo Parity Avoidance and F3L stuff, and that stuff has been pretty fun, but with this puzzle, the Shengshou 4x4, I'm not sure how that will go. With my method, I use a lot of slice moves, so this thing's slice moves are definitely not great, and I really am not looking forward to this too much, but we'll see how this goes. Damn, not quite sub 1. But yeah, this solve was really bad. This thing's really loud and obnoxious, and yeah, this corner cutting is also quite bad, so I can't really do too much about that. One thing I noticed is that when I'm trying to do hedge slammers or sledgehammers, well, these kind of F moves, it is just definitely not working out. Like, you can't do F moves like this at all, really. So I think it's best to just rotate and then do F like that, or maybe just rotate this way and just doing that kind of insert. Alright, let's get into another solve. Maybe sub 1, maybe sub 50, which will be even nicer. We'll see. No, still not sub 1. Another thing I'm noticing is that these colors are pretty dull. These are the old Shengshou colors, and stuff like orange and yellow, and maybe some other colors are just not great for contrast, which is making recognition a bit worse. But let's keep trying to get that sub 1. I think it's definitely still possible. No way. Yes, there we go. That solve definitely went much nicer. It was a pretty smooth solve. I don't think there was too many pauses. I also did something weird during 3-3 where I sliced the opposite direction to save a move, and usually I wouldn't do that in a regular solve for 4x4. But since I was turning much slower, I thought I could try it, and it actually kind of worked out pretty well on this solve, so nice. I want to keep going. Hopefully I can get a sub 50. And if not, I'm probably done with big cubes for the day. I think the main problem I have is that 4x4, I usually rely on really fast turning to get fast times. But since I have this cube, I really can't turn fast, so I have to maybe try to be more efficient in my next few solves. I think that's the key to getting fast here. Alright, so I think I'm done for right now. This thing is just so frustrating. I always get really close and then I just screw it up in 2x3 stage. So yeah, I've been doing big cubes for forever now. So I think I'll take a quick break and then maybe get to some side events and then come back to 4x4 later today. So I also want to finish up trying out all the other events. So we got the side events here and 2x2 and got the stack mat. So let's see how we do first in Mega. I'm really not expecting much of Mega. Maybe sub 2s would be nice, sub 150s. We'll see. Wow. That was almost not even sub 3. So it turns out the grip isn't actually too bad, but the main problem is this thing has 0 reverse corner cutting. Like as you can see here. Like maybe a little bit, but like a bit past that, like it cannot cut at all, and that's the main problem with this puzzle. Forward corner cutting is also quite terrible, as you can see. Doing these cuts with very high effort. And especially since this puzzle doesn't have magnets, a lot of turns can go like out of alignment for different layers. That makes turns a lot more difficult because you're going through a lot of corner cutting and reverse corner cutting, and this thing can't cut too well. So yeah, tons of lockups there and pretty much a 3-minute solve. So yeah, I think I'm done with Mega for now. I think we're gonna try some other events. Maybe Skew. This thing I don't think should be too bad. The corner cutting is bad, but the turning itself is not horrible. Alright, 7.27. Not a bad start. Alright. So I was just talking about how the turning wasn't too bad, and of course a pop just had to happen. So it seems like I can do like decent finger tricks on this puzzle, like flicks or sledges. The one thing I have to be careful with is just turning accurately, because if I misturn, I'm definitely gonna pop. I wasn't even turning that aggressively, it just popped out of nowhere. I think that's number 3 at this point. I feel like I just can't catch a break. Either I pop the cube or something goes wrong in the solve. Well, okay, 5.21. That's not actually too bad. On the very last turn, come on. Alright, I think I'm done with this event right now. So next, I actually wanted to try some Pyrrha. So this Pyraminx is definitely not the greatest, but I have been practicing Pyrrha a little bit recently, so I think maybe there's some potential here. It's just so weird, like using ball bearings again instead of magnets. No way. That was so easy. So as Pyraminx hardware improved, a lot of finger tricks have been developed because of the hardware. For example, a lot of people have started to do some more flick stuff like this, and like more push stuff like this, and like some B moves like this. But going back to this hardware, it kind of makes sense why these finger tricks didn't exist really back then, because they're just so hard to execute on puzzles that didn't turn that great. Whoa, that was actually easy. Wow. Wow. Wait, did that tip just turn on its own? Let's replay that. Okay, that was strange. Huh. So even though these ball bearings are quite harsh, I think that actually helped my turning a little bit because I'm not turning the most accurately with this puzzle, but these really strong ball bearings just keeping my turns in place, which is a decent thing. Even though it feels not that great, it kind of works out. Flick move is just so hard. The reason I plus 2 with that was because I just couldn't flick properly. So my current average of 5 is 5.32. I want to actually see if I can get a sub 4 average. That'll be pretty crazy if I can. Wow, not bad. What? Some pretty easy scrambles. Another easy scramble. And that's a sub 4 average already, right there. Wow. Wouldn't it be crazy if I can get a sub 3 average in this thing? Yeah, that was not it. No. This average is so weird. There's 2 counting 2s and got a 10 and a 6. That's so strange. I'll be completely honest, out of all the puzzles I've tried so far, this pyramid is definitely the closest to my main. Like, this thing actually turns pretty well. So overall, pyramids was definitely the most enjoyable session I had. So the mean was 4.95. A bit of a rookie start in the beginning with some 5s and 6s. But afterwards, I got a lot of 3s and 2s, which is actually pretty surprising. My best after 12 seems to be around 4.2. And best after 5 was around 3.4, I believe. Alright, now onto the final puzzle, I believe, which is 2x2. So this is the one puzzle that I can one-look quite a bit, and this puzzle does not turn great, so let's see how well one-looking combines with a bad turning puzzle. Okay, it's not a bad start. Wow, sub 2. Nice. Especially since 2x2 is an event that you normally spam TPS on, it's quite frustrating having to turn this slow. But like, as long as you're turning consistently, the stop usually goes fine. So that's the thing I noticed about this puzzle. Alright, I think I had enough of 2x2 and I actually want to try some 3x3 one-handed. So there's also 3 blind and 4 blind, 5 blind, stuff like that, but I don't think I'm going to do those really because for blind, I'm not even that good at it, but like I don't do any special like comps or anything, so I don't think much would change. But OH, I think stuff would change, so let's try that. So normally in my solves, I like to use Rue. So my first solve, I want to see how good Rue actually is on a Rubik's Grand. I would imagine not too great, but we'll see. And it's just killing my fingers. Alright, and moves time. So most people use their pinky to do one-handed. I actually use my ring finger. I'm not sure which is better for this challenge specifically, but Either way, like all these R turns are just so brutal on my finger, really. So let's actually try some C-Cup. I think C-Cup will probably be a bit better. Back to M moves. Alright, so this is just brutal. So I think the biggest problem I have right now is that when I do R primes, I do a push of my ring finger like this. But just doing this on Rubik's Grand, it's just so difficult and so tiring. Also, this cube has tiles, and some of the tiles actually stick out quite a bit, which is weird. And my finger can get caught on that while doing like an R prime, and stuff like that kind of hurts. So finally, this cube has no magnet, so there's no alignment of the layers, which means that if I misturn the layer even slightly and try to do a move, I can barely do it. And that causes a lot of issues during the solve. So yeah, I think I'm done with OH. I want to go back to maybe 3x3, and maybe keep trying for that sub 10 single. No way. That was so close. Yes! Wow, that was a good solve, so smooth. I don't think there was a single pause, it was full step. Yes, finally sub 10. I'm not even joking, I was just about to quit 3x3 because my hands were getting tired and I was just so frustrated with not getting sub 10, but finally got it, 9:35, wow. Alright, I'm happy with that. So I do have some time before the challenge ends, and I did want a sub 50 4x4 single. So for the remaining time, I think I'm gonna try to get that, and hopefully we can. Still not there yet. Yes, sub 50. 48.51, finally. And I was just in time, it just turned 12. I think the thing that made me sub 50 with that solve was how smooth the solve was and all of the efficiencies I did during F3L. Look ahead's also quite important here. I think I didn't pause a single time during F3L or 3-3, so yeah, it's quite important to look ahead pretty much. But now that I just turned 12 and the challenge is officially over, I think it's time to just try my mains again. So here are 4 of my mains that I haven't touched for the last whole day. And here are the 4 same puzzles that I've used over the last day during this challenge. So I think I'll go through each of these puzzles one by one and get a bit of a reaction and see how it feels to finally touch these things and turn them. I think we can start with 4. Very clacky. And this thing would lock up a ton, I remember, from myself. Stuff like that. But now let's just go and try the Altitude WRM. I just can't wait to start turning this thing. So quiet and so smooth. What? Like you can literally hear the difference. That's so crazy. One thing I'm noticing is that I'm actually overshooting quite a bit because with this puzzle, I have to be aggressive because the turns are quite slow, so I have to like force the turns. But on this cube, I really don't have to do that. But like I'm so used to like overturning that I'm just turning a bit too much here. Also, the size is smaller, so it's definitely feeling a lot less clunkier. So yeah, I'm just so glad that I have this cube, and I don't have to use stuff like this. This is it feels so weird, because for the last day I've been using not the greatest hardware, but turning this feels so different. Now let's try some Pyraminx. So this Pyraminx actually wasn't too bad. As you saw for myself, like I can get some decent times with this thing, but still very loud and clacky. Has ball bearings, not magnets. But now let's try the Bell M. Yeah, this thing feels so good. You can even hear the smoothness of it compared to that. I think the Pyraminx difference isn't actually too big now that I think about it compared to like other cubes like 404. Turning itself is definitely more quiet and more smooth, but everything else is actually pretty similar. But either way, yeah, I'm really excited to do some turns on this thing. I can just turn this thing so fast too. I could turn like relatively fast here, but it's really choppy because of the ball bearings, as you can see. Like it's very choppy. On this puzzle, it's so smooth. Next, I think we should test out Square One, because this is a pretty huge difference. With all my solves I've done this thing, I think I've gotten pretty used to it. Just turn very safely, but still I got tons of pops, as you have seen. This thing's corner cutting is just horrible, causes pops, and just I can't really turn to my full potential on this puzzle. But now let's try the Volt V2. I'm really excited for this one. So good. It feels so weird. It's like I just bought this puzzle and these are my first turns on it, and it feels so good. I know it's only been a day since I touched this, but like it feels so fresh because this whole day I've been using like other puzzles and Square Ones that definitely don't turn as great. Like this is so crazy how I can turn so fast in this thing. Like for comparison, pretty lucky, but this, like it's so insane. And I'm so used to turning so accurately now, but here I can actually turn a bit more freely. I've also noticed my turning on this thing is also a bit choppy because on this I usually have to turn choppy to not pop or lock up. So my turning on this was also pretty choppy right now, but I'm sure after a few more solves it should get a bit better. And the black also looks pretty nice. I got a bit too used to the yellow, but actually the black I think is the best, especially in like bad lighting situations. This challenge was definitely really difficult, and there were a lot of times during the day I was quite frustrated because I wanted to cube on my mains, but I knew I couldn't. But after this challenge, this made me realize that my cubing hardware is actually so good compared to before, and I should like really appreciate what I have these days. There's so many new innovations such as magnets that allow our hardware to be so good, and I think it's just so cool how cubing hardware has progressed so much in just a few years. Also, another interesting note, a day after the challenge ended, I actually broke a ton of my PBs for Square One. I'm not sure if this is because of the challenge. Maybe I turned more accurately from the challenge, which ended up in better times for Square One. Maybe not, who knows. But that might show that there might be some positive effects of using bad hardware, for example, maybe getting better turning accuracy. But yeah, overall this challenge was pretty fun actually. And if you guys have any challenges, please leave them in the comments below. That way I can read them and try some of them maybe. I had a lot of fun with this one, and I think I would love to do some more of these in the future. So any comments suggesting any challenges, maybe some 24-hour challenges or some other kinds of things related to cubing would be pretty fun to try. So that's it for this video. It was quite long, but it was a really fun journey. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.